So you are saying something? So students who are in the online, am I audible, students? Right. Those who are saying good evening to all. Now I will move to the further. Okay, students, online students, audible now? Now, I'll go to the further discussion. So what is the last class concept? What we completed? Types of methods. Methods are the types of methods. Say once. Now, before the types of methods, what we discussed? Types of data members. So in a class, how many data members are there? 2. What are those? Instance, class level. How many methods? 3. One is instance method, class level method. Instance, class level method, and static. Those are the things we discussed it. And today we are entering into another part of it. As a part of the class only, we are entering into constructors we are talking. So let us go for the constructors today. So half of the class will go for the constructors. Look at students. Here I am going to introduce. This is a class. In the class, we have already seen the first part of the class. What is that? Data members. Inside the data members, we have what? So, okay. Very seriously listening to the class. Right. Fine. It is also one way of listening the class. So, okay, no issue. Some relaxation for you also. Relief. And there are the advantages of online class. Whatever the way you like it, you can do that. And some 6 days back, morning batch, when before I complete that, 9 o'clock, I hope, 9 o'clock. So mother is giving to the son chapati and one more curry. I don't know what that is. Making her to eat. Son, mother is having how much affection? He is becoming Pythonist, getting 50,000 salary, like that. But they don't know that whether you are reading or not. See that affection on you. So like that. So online class means you must listen very carefully. So let it be, students. Don't do that. So So one is called what here? Instance data members. Instance data members. So instance data members. Next is called what is available? Class level data members. So class level data members. Class level data members. Next I am going to take it. Methods I am going to take it. Methods. How many types of methods you learned already? 3 types. One is instance methods. Class level method also. Class level methods. I'll take it. Second one, class level methods. And next is called what? Static method. Third one is called static methods. And that is what we have seen in previous session. Today we are entering into the next discussion called what? Constructors we are going to introduce. Constructors we are going to introduce. As a part of the constructor, we are talking about 2 things. One is called what? Default constructor. Default constructor. Default constructor. And one more is there, parameterized constructor. Second one is called parameterized constructor. Don't take much time. This is very, very important. And see also, parameterized constructor. And what is the constructor? What is its importance? I am going to discuss. Carefully listen. Followed by what? Next I will go for it. Destructor also will be there. Destructor also will be there. Destructor. That is also will be available with us. So if anybody asks you what is the class perfection, these many things are there inside the class. Shall I start the constructor now? Now, let us move to the things. Go to the place, students. I'll go for the class now. Here I am going to write it. Observe it very carefully. Constructors. I'm going to discuss what? Constructors in Python. So inside of the constructors in Python, I'd like to give you some small index. Some small index I am going to discuss. What is the first thing? As usual, index. What is the index I am talking? Purpose of constructor, purpose of constructors, and next term, definition of constructor, definition of constructor, definition of constructor, and next I'm talking about syntax for constructor, syntax for defining constructor, syntax for defining constructor. Next is called what you know, rules for using constructor, rules for using constructors, and next we talk about types of constructors, types of constructors, followed by programming examples. Once we know classes and objects, classes and all those things very well, other things are dead easy. Default are also called as parameterless constructor, parameterless constructor. So here I will write it. Second one is called what you know, parameterized constructor, parameterized constructor. This is the one we are going to take up. So let us start discussing about all these things in detail. Easy, don't take much time. Already we have knowledge on methods as well as data members. Take students, go to the example. Others.py. I am taking here. Now observe it. Here I am writing non-constructor example. I am going to take it. Non-constructor example.py. Class employee, class employee. I just said pause. Main program you see. What I did yesterday, I'm just saying in one simple line. E1 is equal to employee of. What is this line? What is this line? Object creation. What is that? Object creation. E1 is equal to employee. What is the content of E1? Empty. Content of E1. Content of E1, comma, E1 dot underscore dict underscore of. Getting? Underscore of. So got it. Then there I will write it. E1 dot underscore of dict. You try to execute, students. You try to execute it. Under this, I'll write it. So here I am going to write it. Coming to this place. Now I'll take it. Oops, here. Now I am going to take it. Under that, I will take it as what? Constructor. Now I am taking constructor. Constructor. So I'm going to take it. Inside of it, I'll save this code. Coming to the command prompt, here I will take it. D:, here, Python, 6 p.m. There you see, oops. So here I am writing. There I will write it. CD constructor here. There you try to follow. Py, see students. Got it what? Empty. Empty. Now I want to place the data. Only object creation without empty, without data, there is no use now. When you buy the mobile, immediately you are initializing your mobile object with your contact list or not. When you create an account in the bank, you are initializing your bank account with 500 rupees now. Like that. Whenever I create an object, by default, what is there? Empty. To place your data, what are you doing so far? We used to call one method name, E1 dot get EMP data. Correct? What is EMP data? Is one method. is one method. I need to write here def. What is this now? Get emp data of what? Self. There you are writing self dot what? ENO is equal to 10. Self dot what? ename is equal to rowsum. Rowsum. That means we are calling the method explicitly. We are calling the method explicitly and separately I am calling, so that your PVM will go to from this line and it will go to this place and executes. And then even contains what? The data what you are writing it. The data what you are writing it. What it contains. The data will present or not. Now see that. Execute it. Now I got beginning empty. Later it is initialized with our data. My today's concept is, I don't want to make my object beginning only to be empty. Whenever I create an object, immediately I want to place the data in the E1. It is becoming what? Empty. Later by calling the method, it is placing the data or not. But today what I am expecting? Whenever I create an object, immediately data must be placed without calling what? Method. Next example I will show you so that you can understand. That is what is called a constructor. See, I am writing, you see, object is created. Here only I will go for it. Underscore, today I am writing some new method name. Underscore, init of what? Self. It is one special method. You have to write like this only. This is called what, you know? What this is called? Constructor. Constructor is also one method. Constructor kuda oka method. See, earlier it is called what? Get emp data is a method. Underscore, init is also called what? One method, which is known as what? Constructor. So can you differentiate between method and constructor? What is the method here? Any name you can take it. But constructor you have to take on the same name only. And self I am writing. I will write a message here. Message is, I am from what? Constructor. Come on, what is this line? Do you know, students? Today we are getting newly. Whenever an object is created, PVM calls constructor. PVM calls what? So the moment when object is created, PVM straightforward goes to where? Employee class, looking for constructor syntax. Today, do you define constructor or not? Defined. What is this defined? I am from constructor, placing the data inside of what? E1. And what is printing now? Is it printing empty or data is initialized? Just execute it. Just try to execute constructor example1.py. Constructor example1.py. Constructor example1.py. And it's very easy, not a difficult, students. Don't take much time. Py. See that now. What is coming? Earlier one is containing what? Empty. Now it is containing immediately data is there or not? Which one is a better job? Creating an object and calling your method in a separate line is better. Create an object immediately initialized with constructor is better. Come on. Constructor is better. So what is the use of constructor you are feeling here? Constructor is used for initializing the object. What do you mean by initialization? Placing our own data without placing what? Empty. Placing our own data without leaving the object empty. That is known as what? Initialization. What methods will do? How it is different from method? Methods will do what? Operation. Constructor will do what? Initializing. Initializing first, operation first. Initializing first. Simple, students. You are creating an account. AC is equal to account of. AC is equal to account of. What is this line is called? Object creation. Whenever an object is created, what you want to place it into AC? AC is containing balance. What is the balance you want to place it there? Is it called initializing? Next day, what are you doing? AC dot deposit, AC dot deposit, AC dot withdraw, AC dot balance inquiry. These are called what? Functions. Methods they are called. Methods are used for what purpose? Operations to perform. Constructors is used for what? Initialization. So when you create an object, what to do? Initialization first, operation first. Who will do the initialization? Constructor. Who will do the operation? So inside the class, what things must be written? Constructor I must write. Methods I must write. Why methods are required? Operation to perform. To perform the operation, data must be there in the object or not. Who will initialize the data? Constructor. From now onwards, who will initialize the object? Option A, constructor. Option B, method. Option C, destructor. Option C, something like none of the above. What is that? Constructor. What is the name of the constructor? Underscore underscore init underscore underscore of self. Wait. Now I am going to take up one more example. Nothing to worry about it. One more example. Careful. I am writing here. See. I am writing E1 is equal to, take students, 100 comma, row sum I am writing it. Be careful. 100 comma row sum. How many values I am having? Come on. 2 values. This is called which creation? Object creation. Object creation PVM calls what? It will go to which class? Employee class. How many values you are carrying? That means E1 is sending to constructor stored in where? And this 100 is stored in one formal parameter. Row sum I will take one formal parameter or not? Here I will take comma, ENO comma, E name. I will assign here ENO. Next I will write what? E name. I am passing values dynamically. Getting me? Now print this now. I will print here itself. If you want, I will print employee number. I'm just printing it. Or if you want to like this, I can do it. One more object I will create, students. E2 is equal to 100, 200 I will write it. One more I am writing called what here? Travis. Travis I am writing it. Are you following me? Object creation. PVM calls what again? Constructor. This is called E2. This is called E2. E2 I wrote it. E2. C. Execute. First object creation. Calls the constructor or not? Second object creation. Again calls the constructor or not? So constructor is calling when object is created. And what is the role of constructor? To initialize the object. During what creation? Object creation. Try to run my code. Example2.py. Carefully understand. Online students, I hope you are following me, guys. Are you following, students? Come on to the point of it. You see this now. 2.py. See, students, E1 data different, E2 data different. Following me? Now, you see. You go to the previous one. I will create one more. I'll create one more. E2 I am taking. E2 I am taking. Observe this constructor example 1. Example 1. What is happening? Same data. This is what data? Different data. Here only you get it. By looking at these two things. This is the constructor taking along with the self. Some parameters are taking or not. This is known as what? Parameterized constructor we can call. Come on, what is this? Parameterized constructor. Parameterized constructor we can call. Why it is called parameterized constructor? Taking employee number and employee name along with what? And it is placing which values? Same values or different values or different values. Parameterized constructor always initializes the object with which values? Different values. How can I recognize it is a parameterized constructor? Init Self is there, ENO comma ename. It is called definitely what? And how can I remember? How can I recognize it is a parameterized constructor during object creation? Employee of passing the data. What is this line? Definitely PVM calls. Which constructor it will call? Yes. How can I recognize it is a parameterized constructor? Because you are passing the values through whom? Constructor. This is nothing but internally object creation calling the parameterized constructor. Even stored in where? Self. 100 stored in where? And this is stored in this. Is it not called parameterized constructor object creation? Yes. Same thing, this one also. Go to the previous one. Observe it. Here you see, it is taking only self. No more parameters are there. How many objects are created? 2 objects are created with which values? Same values. What is this constructor is called? Default constructor. What is the use of default constructor? It initializes all the objects with what values? Same values. Are you following me? Default constructor initializes the multiple objects with what values? Same values. And how can I recognize it is a default constructor? It is not taking any other formal parameters except which keyword? Self. So what is the use of constructor first of all? It initializes the object. I can initialize the multiple objects with the same values with which constructor? Default. I can initialize the multiple objects of same class with the different values. Parameterized constructor. How many types of constructors? One is default, one more is right. Online students, I hope you understand. It is a very easy, not a difficult. What is the definition of constructor? Tell me. A constructor is one of the special method. Why special method? Whose name is different from normal methods or not? Which is automatically or implicitly called by PVM during which creation? And whose role is to initialize the object, either with the same values or with what values? Different values. Got it or not? So, constructor definition is there. What is the purpose of constructor? Initializing the object. Initializing the, what is the difference between method and a constructor? Method can have any name. Constructor will be on which name? Underscore, underscore init, underscore, underscore only. Understand? Right. Some rules and regulations I will start here, students. Rules in the sense, some rules I will take you. Syntax I will write it. Let us watch it. Final documentation I will show you. First look at DEF. Watch it now. Init, underscore, underscore of what? Self, comma, what? List of formal params, if any. List of formal params, if any. I am writing here. I am writing here. What is this now? Block of statements. Block of statements. So doing what here? Initialization. Doing initialization. Are you following me? Doing initialization. Next, what are the rules, students? Very, very important rules I am going to say. Number 1, the name of the constructor must be always DEF underscore underscore init of self dot 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 dot. What it indicates? Formal parameters and all. If formal parameters are there, you write it. Otherwise, need not to write it. Are you following me? Second one I am talking about it. What is the second one? See that constructor will call automatically or implicitly. Constructor will call automatically or what? Implicitly during what creation? During object creation. Automatically by whom? PVM. During what creation? Object creation. During object creation. Are you following? Now, third one. Constructor will not return any value. Will not return any value except none. That means you go to the place and you are supposed to write return of some 100 I am writing. Return statement I am using inside the constructor, it is an error. Constructor job is what? Initialize the value. Initialize the value. It cannot return the value. What value, if at all it is returning? None it can return. None it can return. So see that, execute it, error will come. Constructor example 2.py error. Init should not return, should return none, but not int. Go to that. You are returning int. That is what it is saying. Should not return int. It has to return what? None. One more example. 100.25. Execute it. Should not return what? Float. It has to return only none. None means nothing to return. Last and final. I will write HYD. HYD I will write it. What is this now? Should not return str. Should not return str. Error. So I will write return of. What I will write? None. That is no problem. Got the output. Writing none is nothing but not at all writing anything now. Writing none, there is no meaning. So what I would like to tell here is constructor will not return any value except none. Returning none, is there any meaning? No. So fourth and fifth, which are little ahead of that, in Python, constructors, I'll write it, constructors can be inherited. Can be inherited. Those who are coming from Java background, they should be careful enough. In Java, constructors cannot be inherited. In Python, constructors can be inherited. Totally different. In Java, constructor cannot be inherited. But in Python, constructor can be inherited. In inheritance, I will explain this fourth point. Because after the constructors, after the destructors are over, I'll go to inheritance. That time I will explain to you once again. Right now, don't worry. Next, in Python, one more thing, constructors can be overridden. Constructors can be overridden. Actually, in Java, constructor cannot be overridden. Can be overridden. So, can be overridden. These two things are not possible in Java. In Python, they are possible. That's why I wrote the word called what? In Python, I said. Are you following? Because if you show these notes to some Java student, they will think that your sir is teaching wrong. And if you see their notes, you will feel that your sir is teaching wrong. But you don't understand which subject you are attending. That is very important. In Python, constructors are not possible. Constructors are inherited. Constructors can be overridden. In Java, totally these are not possible. Are you following? These are the rules of what? Constructor. Are you able to follow? So, are you able to understand the difference between constructor and method? Method can return the value. Constructor cannot return the value. If at all you want to return the value, you have to use what? Come on. None, you have to use it. So, I will show you the first documentation and try to follow me. So, I'm going to take up first documentation, try to observe it. Here I am going to take up under that. Oops, I will take it. Under constructors, I'll bring this notes. So here I am going to put it. Instead of typing it once again, I'll use that. I'll use that part. Try to follow me. I'm saying constructors in Python. Here I will show you. Try to read out. Start everybody. The purpose of constructors in Python is that to initialize the object. Initializing the object is nothing but placing our own data in object without leaving object empty. Did you understand this word now? Now, definition of what? Constructor. A constructor is one of the special method. Why it is special? Whose name is different from method. Underscore init underscore. That's why we call it as what? Special method, which is automatically or implicitly called by PVM during object creation. whose purpose is to initialize the object. Syntax for defining the constructor. DEF underscore underscore init self comma list of formal params if any block of statements performs initialization. Constructors will do what? Initialization. Methods will do what? Operation. Come on. Rules are properties of constructor. Important. Interview people will ask. The name of the constructor is always DEF underscore underscore init underscore underscore of self. Constructors will call automatically or implicitly by PVM during object creation. Constructors will not return any value except none. In Python, constructors can participate in inheritance process. In Python, constructors can be overridden. Understand? These are important. This is a syntax, not a big deal. It's very simple. What is the definition of method? Subprogram of main program is called a function. If I write it in functional programming, it is called a function. If the same thing written in the class, it is called a method. Methods are meant for operation to perform. Constructors are meant for performing initialization. Initialization first, operation first. Initialization first. Okay, students? Now, I will go for how many types of constructors are there? 2 types. One is which constructor? Default constructor. One more is which constructor? In which case you will go for default constructor? To initialize the multiple objects with what values? Same values. When do you go for parameterized constructor? To initialize the multiple objects with the different values. See the syntax? Self. Along with self, we are taking some other kind of things. Are you following me? Right. We are understanding the types of constructor. Next, I'll go for one more. Please look into that. Which constructor it is once again? Which constructor it is? Default. Now I am written. It is written separately. It is written separately. Now I am going to introduce one more. Carefully follow. Online students, carefully follow. Now I am going to say program for, I'll write after some time, class EMP. Class test I will write it. Class test I am writing. I say here pass. Class test. Now I am writing main program. Take care, students. T1 is equal to test of 1020 I written. 1020 I wrote. Which constructor? Very good. Parameterized constructor. Object creation. PVM calls. Which constructor? Parameterized constructor. Correct? Parameterized constructor. Go to this place. Have to define or not? Compulsory how to define it. Compulsory how to define it. Otherwise it will get error. See that now? See that now? I am writing. Both the constructors I am writing today. Default, parameterized constructor. Both of them I am going to. Parameterized constructor, example1.py. Both of them I am going to define. So I am going to say here. Take care. Now I will say save. Out of that, you execute it. Py, see the answer now. What is this now? The error. Compulsory how to define what? Parameterized constructor. Define. Forget. Underscore init of self comma a comma b. Self dot a is equal to a. Self dot b is equal to b. See, I am specifying the instance data members inside the constructor itself. Previously, I was specified the instance data member inside the instance method. You are remembering or not, I don't know. Go to the whoops, under classes, under the types of data members you see. I already mentioned it. You see, instance data members can be specified in 3 ways. They are through an object name, through an instance method name, through constructor. Today you are understanding that. Okay, go to the place, students. I mentioned inside of it. Print that. Print that. What I am printing? value of A dot format of what? Self dot A. Self dot A. Now I am writing value of B also. Value of B also you are printing. So printing that. And you are writing small line separation of it, you are writing it. Okay. Now you are writing like this. Well, now it is okay. Now you execute this. Now you execute. So you are getting what? 10 and 20. Very good. Now I'll go to the next one. T2 is equal to test of. What is this line is called? Or otherwise you take this example. Suppose for example, you take it as which constructor? Which constructor? Default constructor. This is called which constructor? What is the default constructor? No values are passing. Here I don't write anything. I'll write what here? 1. I'll write 2. My interest of default constructor is 1 and 2 to initialize. Execute it. You execute it. 1 and 2 is coming. Following? Now, my interest in today is create one more object, student. T2 is equal to test of 10, 20. Which constructor it is? This one. Which constructor it is? Default constructor, correct? Now, what is this line called here? What is this line is called? Parameterized constructor. Parameterized constructor. It will go to the class called what? Test. Looking for this constructor. Is it matching up? No. Why not matching? T2 is coming okay. But what about the 10 and 20? Where do you store it? Is it a problem or not? So you execute it. See the error. See the error. Init takes only one positional argument, but you are going to give you how many? It takes only one positional, but you are passing how many? 3. This is 1, this is 2. Totally 3 you are going to send it, but you are going to hold only 1. Tell me, how do you overcome that? What should I do now to solve this issue? Come on. Create another parameterized constructor. How do you define it now? I'll take up. Boys, you are not saying what I will write. A comma B. What constructor it is? Parameterized constructor. Parameterized constructor. Self dot A. Self dot B. Printing of AB values. This is a default. This is a parameterized. Tell me now, what did you understand with that? Every student will think that this is executing and this is executing, right or not? 1 and 2 is an answer. 10 and 20 is an answer. Everybody will think like that. That is called a wrong answer. That is your answer which you are going to give you, but it is a wrong answer. And you know already well in my class, in the functions. When the PVM comes here, same method is there. It will remember which method? Latest method only it will remember. Come to the point back. What is happening? It is scanning. Class is scanned by it. Scanning. Line number 4. Line number 13. Coming to line number 24. Before going to come to 34, you should come to one conclusion. Number 13 same, line number 4 also same. That means it is see the method name only. Which one will remember? Line number 13 will remember. Line number 13 means 24. Will it go to where? 4 or 13? 13 it will go. Is it matching up? No, that is an error. It remember latest constructor only. It is not remembering this. It is an error. Online students, I hope you are following. See the error now? Error. See, this is a constructor. It is missing 2 things. You are taking only one. T1 is going to be there in this self. And you are missing past 2 values. Getting? So that indicates what now? We cannot define both the constructors in the single class. It is a very regularly asking question. Can I define both the constructors in the same class? You cannot. Why? If I define both of them in the same class, what will happen? PVM will remember only latest constructor because the PVM is what? Interpreter. Getting? So how do you overcome that? That is my point here. To overcome this, to overcome that, today, what is my interest of doing? A is equal to 1 and 2, I want to say. And here, for that, to overcome this issue, to solve both the default and parameterized constructor, see students, both the default and parameterized constructor, I will use a default arguments concept. Already explained. And of course, you might be forget that. If you forget, I won't forget it. I will remember it. A is equal to 1, B is equal to 2. Why I am taking A is equal to 2, B is equal to 2? Because the default constructor used to do with what? 1 and 2. This is suitable. You are not passing anything. That time it will go definitely. A and B will be taken as what? 1 and 2. That is initializing here. So it is solving the purpose of what? T1. T2 you come. When you come to T2, T2 values are stored, T2 reference is stored in self, 10 is stored in A and 20 is stored in B. And parameterized constructor also solving now. So program for default and parameterized constructor. Parameterized constructor I am saying. You try to execute default and parameterized constructor. Save this example and see. PY. See the answer now. Got the default constructor as well as what? Parameterized constructor. One more I will use it. Look at T3 is equal to test of only one value I will pass it. Only one value I will pass it. Parameterized constructor only. Which parameterized? Single parameterized. And that too, 100 is passing to whom? A. B remains what? 2 only. Execute it. Also getting what? A this one, B is this. Suppose I want to pass that value to whom? B value I want to pass it. T4 I will take it. How do you write it? B is equal to 100 you will write it. Keyword arguments. Message passing this mechanism is. See that answer now. A is 1, B is 100. What a beautiful subject. Now next I will take up here, you see. I will take up here T5 is equal to, here I am writing B is equal to 1000, comma A is equal to 2000. It is called what? Purely keyword arguments. Purely keyword arguments. See that last 2000 and 1000. Getting up? Right. Like this. See the constructor, default constructor, parameterized constructor, single parameterized with keyword, single parameter, double parameterized with what? Keyword arguments. Functions I am using through constructors. Function arguments I am using through constructors. Can I define both the constructors at a time in my program? We cannot. We have to solve that issue by using which concept? Default arguments concept. Default arguments concept. Online students, do you understand this discussion? Go to the discussion now. I'll go to my place and I'll show you that and importance of that part. Once I will show you. This comes under types of constructors. Default constructors purpose I said. Parameterized purpose I said. Let us watch it. In Python programming, we have two types of constructors. They are default or parameterless constructor. Parameterized constructor. What is the default constructor or parameterless constructor? Read out. A default constructor or parameterless constructor is one which never takes any formal parameters except self. The purpose of default or parameterless constructor is that to initialize multiple objects of same class with the same values. DEF underscore init underscore of self. Block of statements performs initialization process. So, program for demonstrating default constructor. Default constructor example 1. Class test init self.a self.b a and b values are printed. So, T1 test of. Same values are placed. Parameterized constructor you see? Same. A parameterized constructor is one which always takes formal parameter after self. The purpose of parameterized constructor is that to initialize multiple objects of same class with a different values. Ikkada same values. Here what values? Different values. I'll go for the same. Self along with that formal parameter. Even in our class also, you see, in our example also, you see, these are the formal parameters along with the self parameterized constructor. Here knows only self. Which constructor? Default. Okay. Come on to that. Example is done. Self along with that KV, and most important point I wrote it. Note, in a class of Python, we can't define both the default and parameterized constructor because PVM can remember only latest constructor due to its interpretation process. To fulfill the need of both default and parameterized constructors, we define single constructor with default parameter mechanism. Already you know na, positional parameters, default parameters, variable length, keyword variable length, you know all of them, right? Right. You see that self k is equal to 1, v is equal to 2, and I'm passing different type of things. Are you following? See the index ones. What is the purpose of constructors? Initializing the object. Definition of constructor, you know, and syntax for defining constructor, and rules for constructor, types of constructor, and whose example. Whenever you want to go for initializing the object, straightforward I will go for what? Constructor. To do the operation, I will go for what? Method. Now, after doing that, I will go for what? One example I want to go for it. One database communication example I want to tell you. Write down. Open the notes. See the diagram once. You structure you see, blueprint you see. So here you see the blueprint. Here I am going to say data members you know, methods you know. Today we are getting what? And constructors are meant for initializing object means what? Instance data members are initializing. Why? They are changing from one object to another object and not initializing which one? Class level. Because class level values are common. Okay now? Write down. Write a Python program. Write a Python program which will accept student details, which will accept student details, such as student number, student name, and marks in three subjects. Right. Continuation. Calculate the total marks. Comma percentage, and decide the grade. Already we did this example in loops time. Full stop. Store all these details in the student table. You want Oracle or MySQL? Both are. MySQL is MySQL. In student table of MySQL. You can take Oracle also, no issue. Anything you can take it. Shall we start? Already you know na? Where we did already? In loops time only I made it. While loop, evaluation of C language marks, C++ marks, right? I hope you are remembering. And I hope you remembered loops. I'll show you that where I did. Student marks report example 1.py. Student marks report example 1.py. Right. See that once. See that once. So student marks, student validation of the number. Enter the student number. Greater than 0 means then only it is taking. Student number must be what? Greater than 0. Right, done. So coming to the point of it. Chinta NVSR Santosh Kumar. So sit properly before the system and try to show your program. Chinta NVSR Santosh Kumar. So your video is on. Right. So he's not there. System is on, he is moving here and there. That is also one advantage for the online students. Right. Okay. Good. Now. Good. Naveen, you are also there. You are also, your video is on. Naga, Venkata, Satya Sai. Right. Everybody is testing whether they are looking nice or not. Right. Naveen is very serious student. He is sitting very straightforward. Like that you need to sit. Yeah. Vinay Kumar, very good student. That is the way to sit. That is the syntax of constructor. Like serious student is Vijay Kumar. Right. Okay. Now start with this. Now while true, getting. This is called what? S name. Are you following me? This is the code we written already now. This code I will carry today. Shall I carry? How do you carry? See that. I'll carry this. How I am writing the code? You just see this. I'll say Python here. Now I am writing. Here no functions, nothing is there. Today I am writing. What is my example? Class, student, marks, report, I written. Within that, I am writing def underscore init underscore of self. This is called what? Inside of that, I will write this entire acceptance of the data. Entire acceptance, I will write it. I'll press one tab. One tab, I will press it. Still one more tab, I will press it. It is comes under totally what? Constructor. Are you getting? You know this logic, no? Yes. Then after that, what is coming? Calculation part is left out. Calculation part. What is the calculation part I will do? I will do once again what? Function I will do. Def. What is this now? Decide or compute. What is this now? Compute or let it be no issues. Self I will write it. This entire logic is there now. Which one? This entire logic is there now. That I will write it. Under this I am writing it. Under compute I wrote it. Under compute. So are we in proper way? So I hope that this is the way. So yes, not an issue, students. This is written. Are you following, students? Now I'll write it like this. DEF, and I wrote this entire things inside of it. Total marks, everything is written. Next, there is one more display is also there. What I will do in that? I will pick up one more method. I will do that. What is this now? DEF. What is this now? Display marks report. Display marks report. I am writing self. There I am writing this entire sentence. I am writing two types tab. This is my class. What is my class name? Student marks report. I'll create an object. Main program I will come. Main program. SO is equal to what? Student report. Print of what? SO dot underscore what? Dictive. Underscore dictive. Underscore off. The moment when you call it, it calls the constructor or not? Asking this number and everything is asking. Come on. Student report dot student report without DB. Without DB. This is my code. This is my example. Save it. 6 p.m. under oops. 6 p.m. under oops. So coming to the point of it, under classes, you want to take under constructor, I will take it. So here, save it, go to this place. Here I will say PY, see that now. Enter the student number, -2, invalid, 100. So here what? I'll say here, some name I will write it, row sum I will write it. Marks in that -4, invalid marks 50, C++ marks -2, invalid 50, Python marks -5, invalid marks 50. What is coming? Empty is coming. Empty is coming. Why this empty is coming? You need to watch it. Class. This is coming here. Constructor is not initialized. Why? What is the mistake you did? This you did not write what? Self dot. Following? Self dot. Now I am coming to the correction. Self dot SNO. Self dot SNO. You need to write it. Here also you need to write what? Self dot SNO. I will accept what? Self dot SName. Self dot what? CM. Self dot CM. Self dot CM here also. Wherever data members are there, you need to write self dot. Self dot CPP. I need to write self dot CPP. Here also self dot. In all the places, I need to write self. Self means it is kept in the object level. Self dot. Everywhere else, self dot. Compute also. Self dot total marks. Self dot CM. Self dot what? CPP. Self dot PYM. Here. Self dot percentage. Self dot total marks by what? In all the places, I must write a self dot. Self dot. So you can say self dot grade also. Self dot total marks. Self dot total marks. Self dot grade. In all the places, I must write it. So here, everywhere else, you must take care. Then you will come across this mechanism. Last part of it. Here, self dot total marks. Now after that, self dot grade. Printing also self dot. I need to print all the things. Self dot, self dot, self dot. Self dot I need to write. Self dot PYM. Self dot TOT marks. Self dot percentage. Self dot grade. See that. Execute. Come on. Fast. I'll say from here onwards. I'll enter the data. It takes only the data which is correct. SNO, this data came. Initialized now. Are you getting? Well, go to that. After that, after printing that, I want to call which function? In this case, what is available? Only details are available. I'll call which function now? Compute I will call. Instance method. How do I call it? SO dot compute of. After computing that, what will be coming? Percentage will come. Execute it. Say the same thing. So here you see, enter the data fast. See that percent also came. Beginning is reading. After calling percentage total marks and grade is coming or not? Now, last you write it what now? Display marks report. You are printing that. Display marks report. What is that? SO dot. Right. Nothing is there to display. Only that result will come. Finally, you see students. So see that, enter the data. See the data which I entered previously. All 50, 50, 350s means what? 150 data is coming. This data, I want to store it in where? Database. Shall I? Okay, go. This part I am not going to take up, and you, for understanding purpose, I wrote it. Same example, I will carry. I'll carry. See this now, how simple it is. I'll take up students Python here. Observe it. Same example. Today I am going to say take it what? SO dot. What is this now? Store in, store or save. Save. Which data? Student data. What is student data? Is a function name. You write that. Define the function now. Where I am defining the student data of what? Self. Write what code? Write what code, students? PDBC code you need to write it. How many values? Number, name, CM, CPPM, Python marks, total, percentage, and grade. I'll go to MySQL. Shall I go to MySQL? Go to MySQL. What is my password there? Root. Come on. Show databases. Wrong. Show databases. Right. Batch 6 p.m. Use what? Batch 6 p.m. Okay. Show tables. Show tables like this. I want to go for what? Student result. I want to create one table. Come on, create a table. Create table. STUD or result. I will take it. Result table. Result of SNO. Which type? Int type. Primary key you want, you can write primary key also. Come on, next. Name. Name or yes, name or you take. Varchar. 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 Of what? 10. Next, please. Tell me, students. CM. Which type? Int type. CPPM. CPP. That's CPP. What is the type? Int. Next. Python. What? Int. Next. TOT marks. Int. Percentage. Percent. What is that? Float. Next. Grade. Varchar. Of. Distinction is there now? DISTINCTION. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12 you take it. Maximum you take what? 12. 13. Extra also. What is that? Query is okay. DESC. What is that? Result. This is my result. Select star from. What is this? Result. No data present inside. This table is compulsory. You have to create. So, before going to create this, you have to do this. I'll write it. I'll write a thing. Before executing this program, I'll write a note. Before executing this program, you must create the table. This you have to create. Are you following, students? I wrote it. You need to create a table for it. Tell me what is the code you write it. Come on, quickly. Come on, students. Import. I will write it. Go to the top of it. Import. MySQL dot connector. MySQL dot connector. Now you will take it. Come on to the point back. CON is equal to dot connect of host is equal to 127.0.0.1, comma. What is the next? User is equal to what? Root, comma. PASSWD is equal to root, comma, very good. Database is equal to what? Batch 6 p.m. Batch 6 p.m. Good. Coming to the point back, I will write what? Cursor is equal to con dot cursor of. Next query now. What is the query, students? Insert query is equal to insert into result. The table name, result, values. Come on, values. Percentage D, comma, single percentage yes. Name. Next, percentage D, CMarks, CPP, Python. Next, percentage D total marks, percentage of percentage, IF, percentage single slash and then yes, grade. Are you okay, students? So 6, 8 are over. Now say this. Is 8 are there in your place? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are there. Okay. So done. Say execute. CUR dot what? Execute of IQ percent of self dot what? SNO. Already you have done self dot SNO. Self dot what? SName. Self dot CM. Self dot CPPM. Self dot PYM. Self dot TOT marks. Self dot TOT marks. And one more thing you need to remember, student. Here percentage is coming. Sometimes you may be getting fractional parts also will come. Of course, you can store it, of course. If you want, you can round also. You can apply round off. Do you know that? So you can say round off. I am writing self comma total marks comma what? 2 comma. What is next? Self dot what? Total marks no ma. Total marks no, comma. Self dot percent. Percent na? Percent. I will write round over there. Round off. Percent comma 2. Next. Self dot grade. Close this query. Done. CON dot what now? Commit. Print off. What is this now? Student record. Inserted. Verify. Data format of CUR dot row count of. Are you following me? Yes. So this is the way how you can do this. That's all. PDBC code this is. I hope you're following. So save the student data. It is available. It is only the PDBC code I read. Wherever you need the database, try to go for immediately. If any kind of error is coming, happily you can write. I told you already in the class what you can do. Accept it. So here dot what? Database error as DB. Say print of what? Problem in MySQL, comma what? DB. Right. Save it. I'm giving the table structure also directly for you. Go to the location, students. Under oops, under constructor, save this. With the DB, already saved. Previous one. Without DB. This part was only file. Okay. This will be with the DB I was saved it. Okay. This I changed in this place only, right? No issue. Try to run this code. Start working on this. Are you following? This is with what? DB. This is with the DB. Previously, without DB, if you want, you can do it. This is with the DB MySQL. I will write it. Previous one, I just wrote it. Here I added. Here I added. Here, this is my place. This is the one. Here, what is available now? What happens? Okay. You just try to remove. You say MySQL. You try to save this. Replace it. Okay. Now you try to execute. Coming to this place. PY. No module named find MySQL. What is this error? Okay. One small point, students. Today, in my place, I was installed some MySQL Python 3.11. I was installed it. I will uninstall it because I told the limitation also to you. Do you remember that? You have to uninstall that. 3.11 still it is under bug fixing stage. That's why this module error is coming. Even if I install also, it won't provide the support for it. So uninstall that 3.11. And very recently 3.10 is comes under secured. 3.10 when I shown you, it was under bug fixing. Still these days, 1 or 2 days back, it was secured. Right, done. Now you execute it. Now it is asking. See that? Enter the number. What is my number? Say 100, row sum. See that? Valid data only will be taken. See the data. One student record inserted, verify. There is a normal memo and a database level also will go. Say select star from. Am I getting or not? Done. Getting like this. Go to the next level. One more time. Say 200. What is the value I entered? 200. Say 200. So Rajesh. So marks is called what is 90. C++ is 90. 90. So getting what? Distinction. One student record inserted. Go to that. It is done. Distinction. You enter one more time. 300. 300. So Rakesh. Say something like 99. 99. 39. What is happening? Fail. Fail. Go to that and see that it is a fail. Getting? This is called communicating with what? Database. Easy or difficult? Dead easy. So like that, one can go for online students. You can go for taking Oracle database also. Where is the changes to be done in Oracle? Connect off. You need to use what? System manager in my system @ localhost and XE. Like that you can take. Service ID you will take and you will do this. Can you do this? Right. This is about what concept? Python with OOPS with database communication. Even with object-oriented programming, you can communicate with the database also. I wrote everything through what? Inside the method, instance method I wrote it. Got it up? Right. Now I want to show you object. Of course, we understand already object. Today I want to show you the documentation. What is an object purpose? What is the use of object? To store the data. So without storing the data in the object, can you do data processing? Not at all possible. To do any data processing, compulsory we need object. To create an object, what is compulsory required? Class definition is required. Class definition first, object first, class definition. If I don't write that, if I don't write the class definition, if I write only this, you'll get error or not. Suppose I am writing k is equal to kvr of, error will come. Execute it. You see the error now. You come to the command prompt and execute it, error will come. What is that error? Name error. Name error. That's why you have to compulsory define what? Class you need to define. So what is an object definition? Instance of a class is called object. What is instance? Allocating the memory space for the data members and the methods of the class is called what? Instance. What is the class definition? Collection of data members, methods, constructor, destructor. You have seen today up to what only? Tomorrow class we are going to see what? Destructor. Right now don't worry. Now I'll show you the object. So please follow me. I'll show you the object. So that is also very easy. From beginning onwards, I am dealing with object part. And it is very easy. Nothing is difficult for you. So under hoops, I'll take this object. Follow me carefully. I'm going to open the object. Try to read out. Read out. When we define a class, memory space is not created for data members and methods, but whose memory space is created when we create an object with respect to class name. The purpose of creating an object is that to store the data. To store the data. To do any data processing, it is mandatory to create an object. To create an object, there must exist a class definition. Otherwise, we get a name error. Definition of object. Instance of a class is called object. Instance is nothing but allocating sufficient memory space for data members and methods of a class. Syntax for creating an object. Variable name is equal to class name of. Variable name is equal to class name of. What is this now? Default constructor is calling when this is object is created. Variable name is equal to class name of value 1, value 2, value n. Which constructor? Parameterized constructor. That's why I'm teaching after the constructors are over, I am explaining this. So an object can be created without values. An object can be created with values. It matters a lot of default and parameterized. Example. Student is off. What is this constructor? Default. What is this constructor? Parameterized. Easy. Purpose of object, definition of object. Syntax for creating an object. Go to the differences between classes and object. A class is a collection of data members and methods. Instance of a class is called object. Instance is nothing but I told you the mechanism. Memory space creation. Second, when we define a class, memory space is not created for data members and methods. And it can be treated as specification or model for real-time application. It's like a formula. Here, when we create an object, we get the memory space for data members and methods of a class. Definition of a particular class exists only once. Only once. With respect to one class definition, we can create a multiple object. Like suppose earlier, I said test example. I said this example. You see, T1, T2, T3, T4, T5. What is this class name exists only once now? But how many objects I am creating? Many objects I am creating. Many objects I am creating. Next term. When we develop any program with OOPS principle, class definition loaded first in main memory only once. When we create an object after loading the class definition, we can create an object after loading the class definition. Otherwise, we get a name error. You know that? Yes. I hope you understand the difference between class and object. And object is very simple for you. Where day one onwards, we are seeing about what? Class, object or pair. They are going to simultaneously continue. Understood? So this is about concept of objects. So it is too early because time is not sufficient to talk about what? Destructor. Tomorrow class when I come back, I will explain destructor. I will explain pickling concept on it. Pickling and unpickling. Already we did unpickling and pickling with what? Functional programming. With files we did. Pickling and unpickling with what? Oops, I will tell you. And I will introduce what also? Destructor. So that completely class will be completed. See, for discussing class only, this much time is taken. When you take any outsider, what is the class? Class is a collection of objects. And it's a blunder or not? And see that what is the definition of class. So knowledge is power. You have to practice it also. Only attending the class, nothing will happen. You have to practice it. That will give you much subject. So I'll save this place and I'll stop my class. Even if I start destructor, I cannot complete it. So why to hurry it? I will go for tomorrow's session. Destructor I will introduce. It's quite interesting and much importance will be there for it. And don't miss the class tomorrow. So this is class structure. Class structure. Tomorrow class, I'll go for constructor is completed, destructor, and then pickling and unpickling I will introduce. Right, students? Thank you. All the best. Online students, you can hold on. I can talk to you if any doubts are there. Separate batch.